Coach, can you talk about the difference in mood, mindset, attitude from this team going into the playoffs and after you defeated Ferris State?
Well, it's a much more confident bunch. There's no doubt about that. We weren't a not confident group going into the playoffs. You know, we felt the Northern Michigan matchup, although difficult, was as good of a matchup as we were going to get in the first round. But that momentum that we created through that series, the course of the series, the course of the 3 games, and then obviously the momentum we got, by the overtime goal on Sunday night, again over the course of the series this past weekend. I definitely feel like our guys believe we can beat anybody. A 2 out of 3 series is a lot different than 1 game, and that's something that we've been able to find a way in a 2 out of 3 series. Now, really, we only have to do it over 1 game. So part of what we're trying to do is create a belief and an expectation around here, and I think we believe more now than we did going into the playoffs, and we expect more now than we did going into the playoffs.
Chris, how much of a factor in that belief is I'll use the word, kind of the storybook ending of that last game, being down 3-0 and finding a way to come back and getting that overtime goal?
Well, I'm sure it's a huge piece of it, but that didn't just start going into the second period Sunday night. Our second half of the year has been come from behind. We had to come from behind of a poor first half, quite honestly. Our first half was not good. I've said this plenty of times before. Christmas vacation or holiday break came at the perfect time for this group. We needed to be away from each other, away from it. We were too close to it. We were too entangled with it, and we ultimately got in our own way. So we fought back from that. Then we're down a goal against Ohio State. We score late, we tie it, we win in a shootout, and then the second half just begins. We were down, with the exception of this third period on Sunday night in Game 3 at Northern, we've been coming from behind. And I don't want to say our guys have gotten used to it, because we don't want to get used to that. But we are used to that situation and not giving up in that situation. So what happened Sunday night late in that game, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't, again, surprised by these young guys just continuing to play. But we've been through this. We hadn't been through the 3-goal deficit, but we've been through deficits before, and we've continued to persevere and stay resilient. So that's obviously, that was the biggest example of us not quitting to this point. But the whole second half was an example of us playing from behind.
What was said in the locker room after that first period on Sunday after being down 3 goals?
I could lie to you and make up some kind of thing that I came up with this. What was said was this. These young guys hadn't quit on themselves or hadn't quit on each other to that point this season. And the message was, don't do it now. You deserve better for yourself, for each other, than to quit on this game right now based on a bad period. And we knew they would regret it if they did. And we cannot go win this game in the first minute of the second period. We have to chip away. The cliches came out at that point, kind of. And but they looked at us, and like we've already thought, they believe what we're saying. And not only that, they realize that they're not quitters, and they haven't quit yet. Why would we start now? So it was a matter of, let's go win the second. Then now all of a sudden there's hope. Hammy closes the door. It's 3-1 after the second. Who knows what happens? So it was quite simply, don't quit on this thing. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on each other. You're better people than that. You haven't done it to this point. Don't start now. That's what it was.
How rewarding, Chris, has this run been to you and towards what you're trying to do here with this program?
It's been very rewarding, John, but I can say that, and we've said it a lot during the year, the toughest part of the first half of the season was to see these young guys' face and them knowing they're giving you everything they have and no results to show for it. It's rewarding to see their face Sunday night in the dressing room against Ferris and a series victory. That was rewarding. to all of us as coaches. It was rewarding to each individual person to see, to know themselves, the pride they felt, and the accomplishment they felt, and then to look around at their teammates. That's the reward, as far as I'm concerned. We want, from a coaching perspective, we want the guys to believe that what we're doing is going to work. So that's got some reward, but to look at their faces and again, the sense of accomplishment and the sense of happiness and pride, I think that's what made coaching worthwhile. And that's what made it so difficult in the first half, where if we asked them to run through the wall, not literally, we think they would have. And we couldn't give them positive back in terms of winning and losing. And that's what we're judged on, unfortunately. We knew we were making progress. It was way slower and way less progress than we wanted. But we were making progress even though we were losing games. The second half, culminating with Sunday night, that's been the biggest reward for me, is the plan is working and it's showing. And to see the look on their faces, to that sense of accomplishment, like I said, or pride in what they'd just done together, that made it worthwhile for sure, to that point.
Why do you think you're scoring more goals? Why is the guys just finishing chances? Is it that you're making better plays?
We've got a guy with the hottest stick in North America.
Right, but I mean...
I think we're finishing better. We've been more opportunistic around the other team's net. I think we're creating more chances generally, but we the second half of the year we've created on most nights pretty consistently. I think it's because it's not the power play. We're not where we want to be in the power play in terms of results yet. So I think it's just the guys have gotten hot, okay, and I think we've just been more opportunistic around the other team's net.
Do you feel like the power play's headed in the right direction? I mean, you've had chances and some zone time.
Absolutely. Yeah. We absolutely do. We kid about it because when you look at the percentage over the season, it's not good. Yeah. We've got no momentum on the power play, unfortunately, but we are this close to connecting, if you will, and kind of it coming together. We've got zone time. We're making plays, both units. We just, we could have got a balance any night of the three this past weekend. Northern, we had, I believe, one. Michigan, we scored one the first night. We're a lot closer now than we were, at the beginning of the second half of the year for sure. And even midway through the second half of the year, our power play we weren't happy with. We think it's starting to kind of sort of look like a power play. We're not getting the goals from it, but we're getting lots of chances, and that's what ultimately you need to create the scoring. So we feel good about it, and we feel we're close. We just need to, keep our foot on the gas intensity-wise and keep making the hockey plays we've been making as of late.
Can you talk about the play of the defensemen in the second half and of late and their improvement?
I just think collectively we've been a pretty good team defending-wise. I don't think it's one or two guys back there that we're looking for to carry the rest of us. I think we've done it by committee. We've dressed 7D in the last 4 games or 5 games, something like that, which is one more than kind of normal. So it has been done by committee. I think we got a little sloppy with the puck from our D-core's perspective in the first game and maybe parts of the second game against Ferris. Northern, I thought we were pretty solid getting the puck to the forwards. We've tried to just oversimplify it. Defend, and get the puck by making sure your details are good, your stick positioning is good, you're taking away time and space and closing on people, and ultimately helping each other out back there. Let's not look to one guy to carry the rest of us. Let's all chip in. And I think we've been better at that just by committee.
Follow up on Jake Slope from Sunday night. Is he fine? He's
fine, yeah. We weren't sure at the time. It did not look good, just the way Jake was reacting. He's a pretty tough kid. We didn't know if it was Charlie Hoare's knee. Ultimately, I think it was a little bit of a knee, but he was back. He practiced today. Everything seems fine.
Anybody else?
No, we're pretty healthy.
You close out the regular season with Northern, Ferris, and Michigan. Now here in the playoffs, you have Northern, Ferris, and Michigan. A little bit of a routine, I guess, building up. Just talk about the Wolverines and this Friday and what you expect out of them, seeing them for the second time in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we expect you know, a very difficult opponent. This is like a home game for them. Friday night. It's going to be probably a pretty big Michigan following at the game. They played in this building a lot. This is their 24th year in a row, I believe, at Joe Louis, or 25th, something like that. They've already played at least 3 games there this year with the Christmas tournament and then the league game. We're expecting Michigan to be at their best, and you know, coming off a series sweep of Notre Dame, who's a very good team and program in its own right. With all that being said, as you said 2 weeks ago, we felt we were a third period away from having 2 pretty good results against a really good team. Our details and our process, like every week, have to be good. This week, this is a team that exposes you if you're not right in those areas. If the little things aren't right, they will expose you at a high level, and they'll do it early. And we cannot let that happen. Our first 10, 12, 15 minutes of that first period, we have to be sharp, we have to be ready to play. And it's not necessarily going to be a want thing with our young people. It's going to be, are we too amped up? Are we over the edge? Are we gripping our stick so tight because we want it so bad that we can't execute? We've been talking about this for at least 6 weeks now around here. We have to be able to be right to the line, but not over it and out of control. Right to the line in terms of our intensity, in terms of our focus, and be able to execute at that level. And there's teams that will expose you if you're not. Michigan will expose you more than anybody, and especially in this type of atmosphere where they're a lot more familiar with what's going to be going on than we are. But that's okay. That's okay. We obviously have lots of respect for that team, but we also know that if we do things the right way, we can compete at a high level.
You got 2 different opponents this week, Michigan on Friday and then either Western or Miami on Saturday. How do you go about preparing your team for playing any one of 3 different teams? You
prepare the same way you always do, but first and foremost, we're not preparing for Western or Miami. We're preparing for Michigan. We've got a game on Friday, and instead of a 2 out of 3 series, which we've had the last 2 weekends, we've got a 1-game situation, and ultimately we're going to face it as we lose and we go home. Now that's not the case. We know we're going to have a game Saturday, but we're going to leave Saturday there. Here comes our small picture approach again. You know, our focus. We talked on Sunday. Let's stay in the moment. Let's not think about Joe Louis Arena because that's so far down the road. We got to win tonight's game against a difficult opponent, so on and so forth. We have to. We focused on today's practice. We'll do the same thing tomorrow. Friday we'll be focused on Friday, and that opponent, and that game plan, and that level of execution, and all the little things that are going to go into that game. And we won't even think about Saturday until we wake up Saturday morning. So it's going to be the same type of preparation. Obviously, Everett, as you know, we've played a lot of hockey in the last 10 days, and so I think physically being resting is key. We weren't out there all that long today in terms of banging and crashing. We were trying to execute, get kind of the bus legs out of our system from the weekend. We'll go back to work tomorrow short and hard, and then we go in the bus Thursday. So it's a preparation where we're mentally preparing for this as much as anything else. And a lot of they're trying to figure out what to expect, and you just won't know until you get there. So it's been pretty standard, business as usual for this week, and our focus is Friday, not Saturday.
Any truth to the statement that the pressure's on Michigan? They're supposed to win. You guys have nothing to lose. Is that?
I would think so. But I think pressure comes based on expectations. What do people expect? Do we expect to win? And is that an internal pressure? I think there's that perception, that general feel that the pressure's on them. I think their biggest challenge is not to think about Saturday and not to look past us. If putting myself in their shoes, which I'm not. We have pressure on us, though. I mean, we want to show people that we got to this situation not by accident. Nobody handed us anything over the past 6 games. We had to go on the road 9 hours, and we had to go on the road 4 hours in a hostile environment. You walk away from those 2 buildings historically with 2 wins. I don't care if it's over 3 games or 2 games. You've done something pretty good, and we want to go there and play the way we're capable of playing. That's the pressure that's on us. We don't really focus on their pressure, but I do think, generally speaking, the pressure's on them based on the standings and the history.
Going back to the goal scoring, is it even more encouraging that it's been against Michigan, Ferris, and Northern, three pretty good defensive teams?
Yeah. Yes, it is more encouraging, and it's because, again, when we think about encouraging, to me means the signs, right? So we're doing it against good defensive teams, and we haven't done it with the power play yet. You know, when we add the power play to that mix, and we add guys who more people who are capable of scoring goals at this level, and scoring them at a pretty good clip, encouraging is absolutely the word. So we're, we can be honest about this. I mean, Bryce Williamson has an empty net goal against Northern, so he's kind of been held off the score sheet. Watala had a couple of goals Friday night against, Burkle's kind of been hit or miss. Carp's been part of it, obviously. I mean, Danny's not the only one who is capable of scoring. He obviously has scored. The encouraging piece is it has been one guy, and we got other guys with goals and potential and capability of scoring. So there's some encouraging signs for us to do it, because we can't rely on one person. We obviously we all know that. We hadn't scored at all, as the season went on. I mean, I don't know if we were 1 goal a game or 1.5 a game over the past, since the Michigan. Forget about the Saturday night. We've been scoring. Obviously, that takes pressure off Hammy, takes pressure off everything, so it makes it easier for us. So we are very encouraged that pucks are seeming to be finding a way in the net right now, and we need to keep that up.
To steal your line, the guy with the hottest stick in North America, what is it that's made that stick so hot? Well,
this isn't by accident. He's been somebody that scored goals and been looked upon to create offense probably since he was a young guy. I mean, in recruiting, you do your due diligence on people. You go to the rink and you can see, but you ask everybody and anybody that knows the young person, what's he like, what makes him tick, those kind of things. And he's always been a guy that has scored big goals and in big times. He hadn't done it to this level yet, and I don't think he's done it to as abundant as he has in this particular case over the past 6 games. But this isn't new to him. I mean, he's been somebody that's been contributing offensively in big times since he was a young guy. So, he works at it. He shoots the puck a lot. I think he's a hockey player all days. He makes little hockey plays. What we saw this first season up until Sunday night's game has been a progression. The first part of this year, how do you know what to expect when you just don't know what to expect? And you can't teach somebody that. He's got to live through it. To watch him develop, the 3 of those guys develop as a line as the year has gone on, with the ups and downs. It's been pretty good to this point, and we're not. Are we surprised he scored 10 goals in 6 games? Yes. Are we surprised that he's scoring and contributing at a pretty high level? No.
Anything else for Coach? All right. First, thank you.
Thanks.